then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from Rock Solid Studios in Granite Falls, it's time for MinneZona Sports, live with DJ Matty C. and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back. Yes, episode 85. And without further ado, I'm your host, DJ Matty C., a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C., etc., etc., etc. And all the way, finally, from Woods and Shore Studios in Aiken, Minnesota, he's back, Paul Volt, the Shield. Welcome back, Shield. What's up?
I'm out of practice, man. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. All I know is that I'm here. I've got a captive audience at home and the zoners at home as well. I've been sitting on this outfit for weeks now, just waiting to show it off a little bit. I mean, you know, I did a little upkeep and a little sprucing of the sweatshirt a little bit because, you know what? We're ready to go. It's going to be a great show tonight.
It will be a great show tonight. But like we said, there's some good things. There's some things we need to address tonight. And it sucks that we have to do it, but that's how we're going to do it. But we have some answers to how pissed I'm going to be. Easy A says, so pissed. Well, I guess we'll see what happens with it. We'll see. Well, the thing is with Tater Tot Hot Take, we're talking Vikes and then Wild. And then Callahan School of Logic, that's going to kind of bleed into a little bit of more Vikings, kind of separating a little bit. But there's a lot of things that are similar in that aspect. So, we're getting to it. So, we'll like I said, we'll get it rolling here because, you know, these hot takes, it's been a while, Voldy. It's been a while for you. But it's time to do some Tater Tot. Hot take. Ooh, that's hot. Ooh.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, here we go. It's time for some Tater Tot Hot Take. This is what we're starting with, the purple. The debacle that was Halloween night, unfortunately, for the Minnesota Vikings, losing to the Cowboys 20-16. There's a lot to write about this game. There's a lot to say. There's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of pointing fingers. And, you know, tonight I think, you know, it's not just me that is going to be somewhat venting here, but I want the zoners to chime in too. Okay, I want the zoners to give their thoughts. I'm going to go over a couple things, what we saw from the game, and whatnot. So I think what we'll do tonight, Voldy, if you don't mind, I'm feeling like I should start off here, and then we'll move over to you and go from there and give your thoughts on the overall thoughts of the game. Okay. I literally want to just not even talk about it and just talk like this, hide behind my sweatshirt, all that fun stuff. Get out of here. No, just kidding. The game on Sunday night, Halloween night, it was scary, and it was scary for the wrong reasons. I think that game the Vikings should not have lost. Not whatsoever. They should not have lost that game to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't care if they were 5-1. Dak Prescott was not playing in this game. They had a backup quarterback named Cooper Rush who hadn't really thrown any passes in the NFL. Yes, he had time to get ready and whatnot, but he is a backup quarterback. The reason why the Minnesota Vikings lost this game, Zoners, Voldy, is because of the coaching. Is because of Zim, unfortunately. And I hate saying that. The reason why I hate saying that is because I got a lot of respect for Zim. Okay? And the reason why I do, and some of the Zoners do too, is that he's been able to have good defenses, things like that. And Zim has been able to do some good things as a head coach. Now, everyone has been kind of warning about this with Zim, the clock management. Okay, the clock management with Zim, and obviously the fact that there was a lot of miscommunication in this game is 100% unacceptable. Why is it unacceptable? Zimmer's been the coach of this team since 2014. Okay, and he is a defensive-minded coach, and things like that. But as a head coach, you have to know when to call these timeouts. You have to know how to manage the clock. And we've been warned of this many times. We think he says he's got to get better at this situation. But it hasn't gotten better. Why hasn't it gotten better? Why does he refuse to do that? I don't understand why. Because the first half, it was 30 seconds. The Vikings, someone gets I think it was Conklin or Thielen gets tackled in the middle of the field. You have a timeout. There's 30 seconds left. But instead, you try to run a play before then. You have to get everybody set. You have to get everybody set before before you can clock it. Okay? Call the freaking timeout, Zim. I said it in my Twitter feed. Call the timeout. And he didn't. He didn't call the timeout. So what the hell is going on here? Okay? Call the timeout. But he didn't do that. Now, that wasn't the only issue with that. People were sick of it, and Twitter was going off, all that fun stuff. Okay? Now let's fast forward to I think it was when Dallas was driving to possibly, either tie it up or score a touchdown, which they eventually scored a touchdown. So they get, they have the ball, and I think it was a penalty or something like that. It was 3rd and 16. Now, I think there was a timeout called before that, and all of a sudden, there was an issue with everything going on with Zim. And the D-backs weren't going back like they should have and whatnot. So Zim, I think, panicked. But as a head coach, you cannot panic in that moment. And what happens? They don't call the timeout. Yep. See, Case is agreeing with me right here, too, Goldie. He's agreeing with me. It's absolutely crazy. I know, Case. It's exactly what I think about it. It's just terrible. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying is that he panic calls. You can't call a timeout in that point. That is unacceptable. You can't do that. You just can't. And he did. I don't know why he did that. But it came down to lack of common sense. And you should know that by now. And we paid for it. We paid for it. They go down, they score the touchdown, game over. Right? Pretty much.
Yep.
Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. And I want to say some other stuff now too, but I'm not going to. PG showed sprinkle of 13. But that's unacceptable. It came down to coaching. And one thing that you can't, blame Zim on either is the injury to Daniil. Daniil going down, that is a killer. Absolute 100% killer. But you need to find a way to get to the quarterback. Cooper Rush had 325 yards on your defense, Zimmer. On your defense. Come on, man. You cannot. You are a defensive-minded head coach, and you let Cooper Rush, a guy that didn't pass, barely Had only 3 passes before he even started, and you let him go down the field and beat you. What are you doing? It is madness. Madness, I tell you. Now, I understand that this team has gotten away with Kirk being able to do some late game heroics and everything against Carolina, against Detroit. Well, God's sake, for Detroit, we should have killed them. We should have killed the Panthers. We should have killed Detroit. But we let teams hang with us. We need to put the nail in the freaking coffin. Put the nail in the coffin. And we had plenty of opportunities to do that against Dallas. Now, let me get to the offense for a second here. Offensively, I'm going to get on Clint Kubiak here. I'm sorry. I'm going to. Because the play calling was terrible. The first drive, Voldy, that first drive, nothing. I mean, it's with ease. With ease. It's like that's what we want to see. Why did we go away from it? Because we had it down pat that drive. And I thought, here we go. Let's go. Let's kick their butts here. But all of a sudden, we're throwing checkdowns. Checkdowns to C.J. Ham. We can't block worth a damn. Bradbury is getting pushed back on every play. He needs to play better. Okay? And Justin Jefferson. Guys, he had 2 catches, 21 yards. How do you not go to your playmaker at that point? Trayvon Diggs was getting beat. He was getting beat, and we needed to take advantage of that, and we didn't. He has 7 picks, sure, but we were beating him. We were kicking their ass. Why couldn't we go throw the ball a little bit? I understand you want to run the ball and everything, but we need to change. We need to change some things. You cannot just do the ground and pound all the damn time. You can't. It doesn't work like that in this NFL right now. Okay? Yes, you can rely on the run game from time to time, but in these situations, you need to pass the ball. You have Thielen. You have Jefferson. You have Conklin. Use them. Don't sit back and say, well, dunk down. And yes, Kirk Cousins, I will say he'll take some of the blame here too. I think he needs to at this point. He's played really good. He's saved Zimmer's ass a couple times now. But at this point, right now, the Vikings offense against Dallas, unacceptable. In the second half, you have to go down there and score. Put the dagger in them. Instead, they kicked the field goal. There was 1st and goal on, the 5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And we only get a field goal? We need to score! We got to score a freaking touchdown. And we didn't do it.
Nope.
We didn't do it. We needed Dalvin. We needed those guys. But the play calling, Clint, or if Zim's involved in this too, that is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Okay? You cannot sit there and think, well, we should just run the ball. We just got to, do what we're good at best. No, you need to show the Vikings fans, this organization, that you can be unpredictable. You have the guys in their primes of their careers. Utilize those guys. That's all I got. The reason why there's a lot to unpack here, and I just needed to let it out because there's so much talent on this team, Voldy, Zoners, and we're not utilizing it to our fullest potential. You have the Ravens next week at Baltimore. Something's got to change. Zim's got to pull. He's got to pull a rabbit out of his hat this next game because, the people are calling for his head, and I don't want to call for Zim's head. I'm not one of those people. But if they were to say adios, then I really wouldn't be like, yes, yay, awesome. But I would be more like, I have respect for Zim, and I wish him luck in his next endeavors. That's what I would say. Okay, Voldy, your thoughts, please.
If the Vikings scoring on the first drive of the game was the way to win the football game, the Vikings would be 7-0 right now. It's that easy for them to open up on the first drive of the game and win. I think 7 straight weeks now that they've scored, 6 straight weeks, I should say, on the first drive of every game. They've put points on the board. And that's frustrating because after that, then it's just death by 1,000 cuts. Because if you can't stay on the field and extend drives on third down, what are we doing? What are we doing? The play calling was just horrendous because you're doing, Charlie check down and just, dump offs right to the fullback, the running back, and the receiver that's, 10 yards away from the first down marker. It's annoying. It's frustrating. You've got these deep threats. You got these guys can stretch the field. You only throw JJ the ball twice for 2 catches, and that's it when their best defender, like he had said with Trevon Diggs, is getting beat easily by the Vikings receivers and not even getting the ball to him. I will give the Cowboys credit. Not a lot of confidence going into this one. They had no problem doing what they needed to do because they had low expectations, I'd imagine, to begin with all the playmakers that they had, with Zeke Elliott coming out of the backfield, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz is not too bad out of the receiving core for a tight end too. They certainly did their job. There's a lot more improvement with this Dallas team from this year compared to last year's team, and it's certainly looking good to see the fact that that's slowly rebounding. Now, getting back to the point of the Vikings, I mean, there is nobody else to blame but the coaching staff, unfortunately. I've been a Zim guy since day one when they said that they were going to hire him as head coach. But now things are starting. I think at this point, the Vikings coaching staff, especially Zim, I hate to say it, I think he's just resting on his laurels here, and he's just trying to play things out here to where the season comes to an end. He's probably not going to be brought back if he makes it through the full season. My next question is, if that does happen, who's taking over? If the Vikings were to, say, lose this week and Zim is out, who's taking over? Is it going to be Kubiak? Is it going to be Andre Patterson? Who is going to be the guy that steps up? There is literally I hate to say it, there's literally nobody that can take over this team right now to be head coach for the Vikings unless the zoners know who can take over. You give up all these opportunities right off the bat. The defense, golden goose eggs for turnovers. 2 turnovers, and they only came out with 3 points on those 2 turnovers, if at all.
I think zero, actually.
No points.
Yeah, nope.
Robert Woods played the game of his life against his old team, and you get nothing to show
Xavier
for
Woods,
it. Xavier Woods, excuse me. The other Woods.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the point. It's so confusing, the fact that we couldn't score points off a turnover, because literally one of the turnovers was at their own 30 or something like that, and had a golden opportunity right there and came out with nothing. That just is completely frustrating, because even with some of the comments made by some of the players and the staff as well, Adam Thielen best summed it up. If you're not frustrated, you don't need to be on this team. And, you shouldn't be a coach here as well. He's fed up. I'm sure the entire team is fed up, because they know they can play up to the caliber of the talent they're going up against, especially with the Ravens coming up this week. And, if they don't show up in Baltimore, it's going to be a long flight back. I'm just completely baffled, annoyed, and just completely over the fact that the Vikings just continue to do this, even taking it down to the wire, had the opportunity, especially the end of the first half, and you wasted 20, 25 seconds and get nothing out of it with that timeout in your back pocket. You got to call that timeout. You got to give you guys a breather. At least 2-3 more plays out of that time you wasted before the next play happened, and that next play didn't get anything out of it. Yeah, I hate to say it, but this one's on Zim. It is on Zim, and a lot of people are calling for Zim's head, but, I hate to say it, but we're going to have to let this one ride out, see what happens. I mean, there's only, 10 more weeks of the season, but things don't start turning around quick after we get past Baltimore here. We're starting to get back into more divisional games. We got Green Bay in a couple of weeks, and a couple of weeks after that. It's not getting any easier, but they certainly have to compete overall. I'm just completely annoyed, and joining my son as well and crying in the fact, because this is going to be a rough next 10 weeks for the Vikings.
I know, and I feel Case's sadness and anger too with this team. This is on Zim. I hate saying that.
I hate saying that.
I don't like it.
Doesn't feel right.
I don't like it.
But it has to be.
It has to be, because this comes down to him putting them in the right situations to win the game. And they didn't do that. And some of this has to fall to Kubiak too. I'm sorry. Kubiak needs to get it together. He's got to call the play. He's got to call plays that people aren't expecting. You can't just be like, we got to do the run here. We got to give it to 33 the whole time. Things like that. No. We need to do. We need to obviously have Cook. Sprinkled in obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to know that we need to win, right? And if the run's not working, we need to go to the pass. It's pretty evident, okay? It's pretty evident that that's what you need to do. But Zim needs to take a look in the mirror and think, what do I need to change? And he did admit that in one of the, I don't know if it was a press conference or an interview with Greg Coleman on K-Fan there, that said, I need to do better too. So then do it. Please, for the love of God. There's so much talent on this team. Do it, okay? And obviously the Daniil thing, I think, was rough too. But
oh my God, come on! Like we can catch another frickin' break with Daniil Hunter getting hurt again.
I was pretty peeved when I heard about it, and it's nobody's fault. It
isn't.
Yeah, and that's what sucks about it. I want to blame somebody. I want to blame somebody. That Cowboys player that fell on him. Damn him. That's all. I don't know.
Human body does weird things, man.
Yeah. Grandma says hi, Kaser. So just wanted to throw that out there. But I think let's. Xavier Woods was fantastic.
Absolutely.
He was fantastic. He's great. Interception, forced fumble. I mean, we can't squander that. We need to capitalize on that. And the fact that we didn't is inexcusable. Inexcusable.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else we need to vent about? And Zoners, please let us know your thoughts on the game and whatnot, and what you guys thought from this game too. And we're gonna chat about it more in Callahan School of Logic. I'm just gonna kind of give an overview and whatnot. But Voldy, like you said, I agree with you on the fact of if you fire Zim, who's gonna be waiting in the wings is probably. Your next best is Patterson, but I don't like that. The reason why I don't like that is because we are still 3-4. Okay, we're still 3-4, and we're still somewhat in a playoff hunt. The fact of the matter is, and I haven't used this in a while, but we need to understand that there has to be change, but it's not fire the head coach, because who are you going to put in place? Right? I say he needs to change, or it's going to be the Wolves saying, you don't change, then you're done. Because whatever it is isn't working. And it's shown. It's shown. We've seen it, how it's been working out. Now, if they don't I'll say this. And I said this before the season. If the Vikings don't make the playoffs, and this is not a playoff team. I told Papa Callahan this too. This is not a playoff team. They don't make the playoffs. Zim will probably be fired.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
That's kind of where we'll put it. So,
bring back Eric Bieniemy if that does happen.
If that happens, yeah. And, we'll talk about
calling it right now.
We'll talk about some candidates in Callahan School of Logic, and I want your thoughts
there you go.
too. So, we'll go from there. But let's talk about something a little bit more positive. That was fun, though. I enjoyed that just because we needed to get it off our chests and whatnot. But let's talk about the thrill. Kirill, the thrill. The Wild in an OT victory over the Ottawa Senators. 5-4. And who gets the game winner?
GWG.
Let's see. Kaprizov. Kirill, the thrill. The real thrill. Kirill, the thrill.
Oh, yeah.
We're feeling good about that. Voldy, now let's start off with you because, I want your thoughts on this. But They were up 3-1. Ottawa comes back. They take the lead 4-3 and whatnot. But let me get your thoughts on this this game here. And Kaprizov getting his first goal of the season. Let's go.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think being up 3-1 and then winning in overtime is definitely going to be something to keep a look at, just because I think the Wild are going to be in a lot of those games. If they can't convert on the power play, that is going to be a very sore sight because, multiple opportunities to put the game away early, including 4 minutes of power play at one stretch, even a 5-on-3, no shots, and you can't convert on a 5-on-3. You're definitely not in deserving of winning a hockey game as well, because there were, again, a lot of instances, a lot of chances for them to put the game away early. Being up 3-1 in the first and obviously getting that chance to win it overtime. Marcus Foligno pots a couple of goals. Kalen Addison gets his first NHL goal as well. He's definitely looking a lot stronger, especially being him in a situation where he's going to be the guy up there, up at the point as well. He's going to be one of those top guys to be leaned on, even in a short amount of time he's had in his career. Getting things back together a little bit more. Now that we've got off the schneid with Kaprizov, hopefully that starts opening up a lot more angles for him, whether it is, putting it in the back of the net or setting up guys too. That's going to open up more chances. There are some instances, they got a couple guys on COVID right now. Zuccarella's out on the list right now. There are a few instances where that needs a little bit of help. Joel Eriksson Ek, Marcus Foligno, those two guys right there with Fiala in the mix, Kaprizov as well, Ryan Hartman. I mean, that's going to be some strong leaning on those guys here the early going of this season, just because, goaltending, there have been some chances there for them to blossom a little bit more with Cam Talbot leading the way. But I feel like a lot of those, 5-4 overtime wins, that's something we're going to probably see a lot of here early on this season. It's not until we start get this full lineup back to where they can get more time together is going to be a big difference. And, if we don't play Colorado the rest of the year, I'll be happy because they just cannot frickin' beat Colorado. I don't get it, man.
Yeah. Well, you got to get through them. I feel like they have to at some point get through them.
They have to. They literally have to get further into the postseason because Lord knows they're going to get matched up with them in the first round.
Because that's how it usually goes, right? It's just ridiculous. But anyway, let me ask you this, and I'll get into some positives here. But what do they need to do to kind of get going on the power play? I'm losing my mind. But, what do they need to do to improve on the power play? Because it's just like, I feel like we talk about this, but there's really no answer. They just need to it's just getting the puck in the net. I mean, is there any other aspects that they can, try or any plays? I don't know. What do you think?
I think they're just all in a mindset is they're trying to make the next pass to the guy who's going to shoot it. But literally, if you've got 5 guys on the ice that all want to pass it, that's not going to get any shots on net. That's not going to create rebounds. That's going to open up opportunities to score. They need to get selfish out there, I think, is the thing. The more shots you throw on, the more opportunities that is going to create rebounds and somebody to get a garbage goal out in front. I think it's just the mindset of they get in close, they get close towards the net, and they're looking for a guy who's got a better angle. Look, if you've got the shot, take the shot, because on the power play, no shot is a bad shot, and just throw it on, see what happens. And obviously being able to cover that up with the blue line defense with Dumba, probably Addison out there as well, and seeing some of the other guys. I mean, Jared Spurgeon, Freddie Gaudreau as well, JEE out there trying to help things out there. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that know that we can score, but they're trying to set up the other guy to score. So I think it just comes down to the Wild being selfish. They got to go out there and they got to think, I'm going to score it, and somebody else is going to give me the pass to set it up. But, right now everybody's just trying to be the good teammate, but sometimes you need to be a selfish teammate in order to get the job done.
This guy, back here. That's I think right. I think sometimes, and I get it. You want to be a playmaker, and he has, and he's been fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but let's put the puck in the net, and let's get it with Kaprizov. Let's get it with Fiala. Let's get it with Triple E, right? Or no, Double E.
No, Joel Eriksson Ek. Yeah,
Joel Eriksson Ek. So yeah,
JW.
Yeah, hey.
Just call him
There we
J-Dub.
go.
There we go.
There we go. I love it. But I think Jewel and also Dumba's been playing well, and a lot of people have been calling for Dumba to be traded now. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that Dumba's been playing well. Addison, I think, is starting to come into his own here too. But when we get Zuccarello back, I think that's going to help. Obviously with COVID and whatnot, because actually before. I did change the story. I think it was either last night or this morning. Or no, yeah, it was this morning because, they were there was COVID all around the team and whatnot, Zuccarello and a bunch of other guys too. And, things weren't going well. But until this game last night where they were able to come back, win the game in OT, Kaprizov killing it as well, and he also cut his hair too, which I'm kind of surprised about. I didn't think that he would get a haircut because the flows it looks good for him. It's a good look for him, but it's the Wild. I think we're seeing there's so many guys contribute, like you said, Jewel, Fiala, Kaprizov. Zuccarello when he was still, going and whatnot. Sturm, I think, had a couple nice passes last night.
Nico.
So we're moving in the right direction, and I think that's something that we haven't seen. And in the Parisi Suter era, there were some games where it's just they couldn't find the back of the net. There's too much passing. Pass. Yeah. All you guys do is pass. Shoot the puck. Someone's got to do it, right? That's just how it is. So, but we're feeling pretty good about it. But the good news is that they don't play till Saturday, Voldy. They take on the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday. So guys get to rest up and then get back out on the ice against the Penguins. And also they will be without Cindy Crosby because he tested positive for COVID. So there is that.
Again.
And he's not the only one, too, because somebody in Green Bay, tisk. Aaron Rodgers tests positive.
Let the Jordan Love era begin in Green Bay, baby.
And they're going to lose to the Chiefs, just saying that.
God, I hope so.
Let's hope so. But before we move on to a Callahan School of Logic, we'll keep keep up to date with everything Wild and whatnot. Couple things. PJ Fleck, re-signed, 7 more years, extension. He is back. Quick thought on that, Voldy. What do you got?
Great. And shut up the whole PJ Fleck to USC or any other big coaching job. PJ Fleck to LSU or anything for the time being right now. Obviously, them putting that out and, them being the leaders in the Big Ten West up until they play Wisconsin and Iowa here in a few weeks. That'll be a real nice feather in the cap for the Gophers there to have. But, 7 more years. Obviously, his contract is up after this season, but another 7 years on top of that just really speaks. So hopefully this gets the Gophers over the hump even further to hopefully, be one of the mainstays in the Big Ten here, a few years down the road, hopefully. We'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed. And I'm a big Fleck guy. I really do like Fleck. And I think, especially with all the running backs that have been out this season, they're doing a pretty damn good job.
Surprisingly. Yeah. They are playing trash teams right now, but experience is experience. Got to get the training wheels off sooner or later, and might as well get some garbage wins against Nebraska and Northwestern and playing Illinois this week as well. So we'll see. And
also, they have one of the biggest old lines in the NCAA. They're beasts, man.
Some man meat. Oh, my goodness.
Exactly. Falele, Andrews, those guys are just...
Blaze Andrews. Yes, sir.
Oof. But yeah,
Marshall
PJ Fleck.
Kid.
Yeah, stamp of yes, Marshall Kid and stamp of approval all around. And then the Wolves are playing tonight. They're 3-3. They've had some struggles. They lost to the freaking Magic. Munson's probably got some thoughts on that, but he also had a thought with the Vikings. But we'll bring that in for Callahan School of Logic. But Wolves got to get rolling. We talked about it with Rattel, Voldy, and I think they need to win tonight. And also, it's this is a new era. You got Ant. They were pissed the last time they lost to the Pelicans. I assume they were pretty pissed when they lost to the Magic, especially on that giving up 43 points in the fourth quarter.
Crazy.
Not good. So, anyway, that's going to do it for just the quick Tater Tot hot takes with the Gophers and the Wolves. So let's get to Callahan School of Logic. Obviously, we pretty much touched upon this during Tater Tot Hot Take with the Vikings and whatnot. But I know things are tough right now, and again, it's part of the season, right? But we've been through worse. Let's be honest. The Minnesota Vikings fans, zoners, have been through worse. And the reason why I say that is because I'm going to bring back some times that were definitely tough. 2010, all that. We'll get into that with Callahan School of Logic. But zoners, feel free to give us your thoughts too. Anything with the Vikings related. And also got some shout out or sort of shout outs and whatnot, because some people have been through this even before us. So we're going to touch on that too. So get your pens, get your pads of paper, get in your seats. It's time for Callahan School of Logic.
Class is in session. You're enrolled in Callahan's School of Logic.
All right, it is time for Callahan School of Logic. Voldy, zoners, get your pens, get your papers, sit in your desks. It's time to talk about this our beloved Vikings team. And the reason why we're starting off with this tonight is because there's been a lot of negativity. There's a lot of negativity, especially with this team. Rightfully so. I mean, to be honest, I do agree, because there's so much talent on this team, and I feel like we need to utilize it to our fullest potential. And there are so many weapons that we have on this team that, we can do so much with. Now, let's be honest. Before we get into it here, Cole says, we're referencing the game here this past Sunday. Going to pass isn't good enough. You need to pass the ball down the field. Like a 5-yard pass on 3rd and 8 isn't good enough. Exactly. And that kind of comes down to Kirk. Okay, that does, unfortunately, but it's true. That comes down to Kirk. He needs to push the ball down the field. Guys were open. Thielen, Jefferson, KJ. Not enough of this dump-off BS. So that's all I got to say about that. And then he also says 27-23, Clippers are up after one. Well, that could change, as we all know. But anyway, let's get back to it. Lower Third says a Vikings fan no matter what. And I still believe that to this day. I will stick with this team through thick and thin. And I always have. Okay, I always keep coming back for more. You guys keep coming back for more. Even after a tough loss. Even after it's like, I can't watch this. I can't watch this anymore. All that nonsense. But things have been much worse. Let's be honest. Walsh, Anderson. Need I go on, Voldy? Need I go on, zoners? 34-7. Okay? NFC Championship game. Okay? 09. That's all I have to say. NFC Championship game. But we won't get into that. We're saving that, Voldy. We're saving that. And then another one is, 4 Super Bowl losses. And people have lived through that. Okay? One of them being, since the team's inception, being my Papa Callahan and Jimbo. I mean, it's these guys have seen the Super Bowl losses. They've seen the triumphs of the tribulation. There have been worse times, okay, with the Minnesota Vikings. And I know that the all fire Zimmer thing, yada, 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 whatever. Okay, we've seen worse. 3-13. We remember that. The failed experiment with McNabb. Ponder. That whole spiel. I could go on, people. All right. And like I said, we're 3-4. 3-4. We were 1-5 last season. Just think about that. We were 1-5 last season. Things were terrible. Remember, Voldy, #tank for Trevor. Remember that?
Oh, God.
Shut that down real quick. I think both of us did. We said, no. We're not. That's not how we're doing that. Exactly. That's good. But that is not something that we wanted and or should have done in the first place. But some people wanted that. Get rid of that. And obviously it didn't come to fruition. So that is that too. But like I said earlier, we all keep coming back to watch this team play. No matter the issues, no matter the, I can't tell you how many times I've said, I don't want to, it's like, then I get over the loss a day or two. Aints 09 was a little bit different. That was about, I'm still not over it. But, but a couple days after, then I move on. Okay, who do we got this week? We got Baltimore. Okay, well, it's going to be a tough one, and I don't feel confident about it, but I'm still going to watch it. Why am I still going to watch it? Because this is my team, man. It's your team. It's, like, for diehards like, let's just say Coombe, let's just say Mets, let's just say even former intern guy, they still want their team to win. They want the Packers to win. We don't want them to win. They want to screw the Packers, right? This is MinneZona Sports Live, not Green Bay Live. So, you still come back with the mindset of, okay, it's a new week. Maybe things will change. And things do at some point. Will it change? I can't say, right? But, and then the criticism is warranted. The criticism is warranted big time. We can't forget that because you have a right to speak your frustrations. I just did. Voldy just did, with the Tater Tot Hot Take. You can go on Twitter and tweet your frustrations. I've seen plenty of Vikings fans, plenty of, Vikings influencers say, this isn't right. This isn't right. And you can do that. Even if I don't agree, if Voldy doesn't agree, if Zoners don't agree, you have a right to voice that frustration. Even if you are Team Fire Zimmer, okay? Now, I think there's certain aspects that we need to consider before we get into that. But again, if you're in that realm, then fine. That's okay. We get that. But the logic in all this is we need to just be vigilant. We just need to, realize that, these tough times come and go, okay? Hopefully, maybe this week, the Vikings kick the living crap out of... Let's not forget, this season, the Bengals lost to the Jets. And we thought the Bengals were going to smash them, right?
Yep.
That wasn't the case. They lost to the Jets, for goodness sake. The Jets! Mike White! Who? Mike White? Who's that? So, let's have some renewed optimism and say, any given Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. Any given Sunday. That could change, it could change. We could all of a sudden go on this big run and then people are like, oh, wow, things did change. Zim really turned this around. So let's hold out some hope here. And the last thing I want to throw this out there, too, because I like joking about this with you and the Kerf Doctor and Easy. At least we're not the Lions. At least we're not the Lions. Or at some points we either the Jets or the Browns or something like that. But at least we're not the Lions. That's kind of how I look at it. So the logic in all this, let's be vigilant. Let's realize that, this happens all the time. Okay, so let's keep it rolling. But, Voldy, before I get to you, we have some breaking news. Okay, we have some breaking news. You ready for it? Hats have arrived from China and should be done next week. Let's go! Let's go. I'm stoked for the hats. I'm stoked for the hats. I can't wait to see them.
Just in time for Black Friday.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So, Zoners, we got hats. Make sure you get your orders in. All right. Jane Bowen, I believe. Jane Bo's got something here. I have watched the Vikes for a long time with Shimbo. We are always going to be Vikes fans. What really sucks this year is the talent on the team and not being able to win. Hit the nail right on the head. That's all I got to say. All right, Easy A. I think Zimmer will be let go this year if we get smoked by the Ravens. If they get smoked 44-0 or like 44-3.
Yikes.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. But stranger things have happened. Have happened. So he will get another chance if we lose by a couple points to the Ravens because the Ravens are a good team. They are a good team. They've lost a lot of running backs. So to be honest, they had to bring in guys. They had to bring in Le'Veon. They had to bring in Devontae Freeman. There's a lot of teams have issues here, and we could be worse off. We could be the Lions right now, okay, and not have any wins, right? So it could be worse. But Voldy, what are your thoughts? Go ahead.
Yeah, obviously we go through this week by week. It's being a Vikings fan, it comes with the territory, being upset at the whole situation, but then as we go on week to week, be like, all right, at least we got a shot here this week. All right, what's the matchup? How are we looking? At least we're fully healthy. We've got the chance. We've got an opportunity here. We've got the whole team to work with. We've got all the weapons. We've got a really good team coming in against Baltimore as well. Defense got to be on top of their game. Offense has got to be able to be a lot more consistent. There is that optimism each and every week to see how things play out. And that's, you just got to let the game play out is the thing. And, unfortunately, this past Sunday night didn't go the way for the Vikings. And unfortunately, primetime football just isn't in our bag, apparently.
Nope.
But, you got to give it a chance is the thing. And we all know that this past Sunday was the coaching staff. That's on the coaching staff for that one, not being prepared to go up against Cooper Rush. But at least you know who's going to be the guy this week against Baltimore. It's going to be Lamar Jackson and the whole crew too. Because yes, the criticism is warranted. Everybody knows, and they know. All the Vikings players know that they're struggling. They're fixing to put themselves in a lot better situation. They should be at least 5-2, if not 6-1 in certain regards as well. But 3-4, happen to be above water right now, or at least near treading water and trying to keep their head above water as well in a very tight division. It's going to be with Green Bay at the top, and Chicago's looking on the front side of a couple of things with Justin Fields gaining more and more confidence with each week. And we already know that Detroit's already out of it, and we've still got 10 more weeks left in the season. I just look at it because if anything, this season, because of how difficult the schedule is. Sure. I hate to say this is going to be, a good learning year for them to at least know what assets that they have. But who knows? We still got a whole second half. We're not even at the midway point of the season. We got a whole second half of the season and another bye week in the mix as well for the Vikings to get right, turn things around. Who knows? They could rattle off 10 straight wins, and we're talking about something completely different here at the back half of the season too. But obviously, you just never know what's going to happen week to week. And, as the saying goes, any given Sunday, things can happen. If Mike White can come in off the bench for the New York Jets, throw for 7,322 yards and beat the Bengals, you just never know. Last week was a week of nobody.
Yeah, it was.
Literally the week of nobody's beating up everybody. You had Cooper Rush beating the Vikings. You had Mike White beating the Bengals. You had somebody else beating somebody who was a, fifth round pick off another team from Joe Bag of Donuts University and going out there and picking up W's. It's just completely crazy to think. And you know what? At least we're not the Lions. So
exactly. Well, I appreciate you dropping the Joe Bag of Donuts. Kerf Doctor loves it every time we do it here on MinneZona, so we appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Stuffage says, if the Vikings go 3-8, I can see Zimmer being let go. I don't know if he'll survive, to be honest with you, if it goes to 3-8, but yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Yeah, that's the thing. Jambo says, wow, not sure what to do with the positivity. I'm not ready. Still ticked. I don't blame you.
Gotta let it vent. Let it vent.
Let it vent. And that's kind of what I kind of did too with it. But I totally understand. I mean, we've been through worse. And I think, it's just kind of it's Minnesota sports, right? We can't have nice things. Now, remember, let's not forget, they lost Teddy, then they lose Bradford after that whole debacle. They were 2-2 at one point with that guy, Case Keenum. Keenum's keepers, that guy. We went 13-3. So I'm not saying this is the team. I'm just saying there's some optimism with this, but with all the positivity, I'm still pissed too. We lost to a backup quarterback. We lost to a freaking backup quarterback when we're supposed to beat this damn Cowboys. So, anyway, all right. I think I got it all out now. We're good. We're good to go.
There we go.